You remember the conversation differently than they do. You're certain of what happened, but their version sounds so confident, so detailed. Slowly, a question creeps in. What if you're wrong? What if your memory, your perception, your reality itself isn't as reliable as you thought? This moment of doubt isn't accidental. It's the precise moment when gaslighting begins to work. Here's what is truly unsettling. The people most susceptible to gaslighting are the weak-minded or gullible. They're the ones who trust their own judgment the most. Gaslighting is psychological manipulation designed to make you question your own reality. But it's not just about lying or deception. It's about systematically dismantling your confidence in your own perceptions until you become dependent on someone else's version of truth. Every day, you experience thousands of moments where your memory, your interpretation, your sense of what happened could be questioned. Most of the time, you trust yourself. But gaslighting finds the hairline cracks in that trust and exploits them with surgical precision. What you're about to discover will change how you see every disagreement, every moment of self-doubt, every time someone has made you question what you know to be true. Because gaslighting isn't just something that happens in toxic relationships. It's a fundamental exploit in human psychology that we're all vulnerable to. Inside your mind, there's a constant process of reality testing. Your brain takes in information, compares it to existing memories and beliefs, then forms a coherent narrative about what's true. This process usually happens automatically, unconsciously. You see something, you interpret it, you file it away as fact. But here's the vulnerability. This system relies on confidence. The moment you begin doubting your perceptions, the entire structure becomes unstable. Gaslighting works by introducing systematic doubt into this process. It doesn't attack your memory directly. Instead, it attacks your confidence in your memory. The gaslighter presents an alternative version of events with such certainty, such detail, such emotional conviction that your brain starts to waver. Maybe you did misremember. Maybe you did misinterpret. Maybe you're not as reliable a narrator of your own experience as you thought. Psychologist Robin Stern studied this phenomenon extensively. She found that gaslighting follows a predictable three-stage pattern. First, disbelief: you know something is wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Second, defense: you start arguing, trying to prove your version of reality. Third, depression: you give up fighting and accept their version as truth. The most chilling part? This progression can happen over months, or can happen in a single conversation. What makes gaslighting so effective isn't the strength of the alternative narrative being presented. It's the erosion of your trust in your own perceptions. Once that trust is damaged, you become vulnerable to accepting any reality that's presented with sufficient confidence. This is happening to you more often than you realize. Every time someone responds to your clear memory with that "that's not what happened," delivered with unshakable certainty. Every time a group consensus forms around a version of events that contradicts your experience. Every time someone tells you that your emotional response to something is unreasonable or overblown. Think about your last disagreement with someone close to you. Notice how it felt when they presented their version of events. Did you feel that moment of uncertainty? That brief wondering if maybe you had it wrong? Even if you ultimately stood your ground, that moment of doubt is the opening gaslighting needs. Consider how social media algorithms work. They don't just show you information, they show you information with social proof attached. Comments, likes, shares, reactions. When everyone seems to agree on something that contradicts your direct experience, the pressure to doubt your own perceptions becomes immense. Even in professional settings, this happens constantly. Your boss remembers a conversation differently. Your colleague insists you agreed to something you know you didn't. A meeting recap doesn't match your notes. Each time, you face the same choice: trust your perception or defer to someone else's confidence. But here's a reframe that changes everything. Gaslighting works because we've been taught that reality is objective, that there's one true version of events. The antidote isn't to become more certain of your perceptions. It's to become more comfortable with the subjective nature of experience. Your memory doesn't have to be perfect to be valid. Your interpretation doesn't have to be universal to be true for you. The most powerful defense against gaslighting is not perfect recall it. The radical acceptance that your experience belongs to you. When someone challenges your version of events, the question isn't who's right. The question is, why are they so invested in changing my reality? True confidence isn't about being certain you're always right. It's about being certain that your experience matters, regardless of how others remember it. The strongest people aren't those who never doubt themselves. They're those who can hold doubt and certainty simultaneously, who can say, "This is what I experienced," without needed external validation to make it true. So here you are, remembering that conversation again. But now you understand what's really happening when someone challenges your reality with unshakable confidence. You see the invisible architecture of doubt they're trying to construct. The question isn't whether your memory is perfect. The question is, who gets to decide what your experience means? The most profound truth of all might be that your reality belongs to you. And no amount of confident contradiction can change that.